Heartwarming moment revealed. How a waitress daughter transformed a millionaire's life in seconds. Sarah stood behind the counter of the bustling diner, the scent of sizzling bacon and fresh coffee enveloping her like a warm hug. The morning rush throbbed around her, clattering dishes and laughter filling the air. But her focus was on the small sketch Lily was creating in her worn-out notebook. Just another day or so, she thought. Life had been rough, but every smile on Lily's face made it worth it. Little did she know, today would change everything. Tom rushed in, looking like a tornado had hit him. His suit was wrinkled, his tie hanging askew like a torn flag. That morning, losing his job felt like losing a part of himself. But he pushed through the door, desperate for a moment of normalcy. The comforting sounds of clattering cutlery and cheerful banter clashed with the storm of emotions swirling inside him. His eyes darted around, craved connection, an antidote to the solitude gnawing at him. Then, he saw her, Lily, clutching her colored pencils, lost in the world of her drawings. When their eyes met, an unexpected warmth radiated between them. Tom had pictured success through tall buildings and shiny cars. Yet here was this kid, sitting at the counter as if painting a world colored by hope. "What's that?" he asked, nodding toward the page. "It's a castle." Lily beamed, her smile illuminating the grayness that loomed within him. "A castle?" Tom chuckled, forgetting his troubles just for a moment. "Are there dragons there?" She nodded, eyes sparkling. "Just one. But he's friendly. He helps the people." Her innocence struck him. "What makes you happy?" He found himself inquiring, half joking, half serious. He wasn't ready for her piercing response. "Not money," she said, her voice steady. "But hugs, ice cream, and my mommy." Each word pulled at a thread in Tom, unraveling the pretenses he clung to. With every query from Lily, an invisible cord wove their stories together, lightening the heaviness he carried. Sarah watched from afar as the two exchanged words, an invisible synergy forming between them, but uncertainty twisted inside her. Who was this man, seeking connection in a diner? What did he truly want? Before she could intervene, Tom spoke again, desperation creeping in. "I've lost so much. Do you ever feel like there's something missing?" Lily's face turned serious. "Like friends or smiles? You probably need more hugs." The weight of her innocent wisdom pressed on him, throwing another reality check his way. Perhaps this child wasn't just a kid. She was a lighthouse he never knew he needed. But could such profound change happen so easily? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Just then, chaos erupted. A tray clattered to the floor, a splash of coffee sending everyone into a frenzy. Heartbeats raced, and a flurry of arms reached out to help. In that moment of disorder, Sarah and Tom collided figuratively and literally. Faces flushed, emotions stirred as they faced each other. "Are you okay?" Tom exclaimed as he helped her up, but his eyes reflected not just concern, but recognition of vulnerability. "Yeah, I'm fine," Sarah said, her voice constricted with the tightness of unspoken fears and pride. In those shared glances, tension thickened as they both grappled with hidden resentments. Would they ever understand each other in this chaotic life? But there, amid the spilled coffee and a childish laughter, they were forced to confront not just their struggles, but their capacity for connection. As the diner simmered back into routine, one question clung to the air. Could they ever move beyond their biases and embrace the depth of this unexpected bond? What transformations awaited them on this intertwined path? The smell of coffee and toasted bread filled the diner as the morning rush continued, the chaos of clattering dishes and laughter gradually returning to a sense of order. Yet, amid the familiar hum of activity, an unusual tension lingered in the air, barely concealed beneath polite smiles and friendly banter. Sarah busied herself with refilling coffee mugs, her fingers trembling ever so slightly. She stole glances at Tom, who sat at the counter, a furrow in his brow betraying his thoughts. It was hard to ignore the stark contrast between him and the regulars who filled the diner, their laughter easy and their worries far away. He was a stranger wrapped in layers of uncertainty and hidden anguish. Lily, still absorbed in her drawing, seemed blissfully oblivious to the sudden shift. The innocent magic between her and Tom was palpable, their bond deepening as they engaged in whispered conversations over crayons and sketches. "What color should I use for the dragoness scales?" Lily asked, her eyes wide with excitement. Tom grinned, his tension easing slightly. "Try a bright green. It'll make him look friendly." "Like me," she exclaimed, her grin widening. But a wistfulness nagged at him. How could this light-hearted interaction mask the storm raging inside? He forced his smile to hold. Even as a thought struck him, could he really find the happiness Lily spoke of? Hugs, ice cream, and simple joys? It seemed so distant from the world he had known. Sarah's heart tugged as she watched them, her motherly instincts flaring. Lily's laughter filled the diner like sunshine, yet it was tinged with a fear that seeped into the corners of her mind. Would this man, who looked so lost, disrupt the fragile peace they had created? She was protective of Lily, fiercely so. Uncertainty regarding Tom weighed heavily on her heart. "Sarah," came a voice from the corner booth, the fluster of a regular shattering her thoughts. "How's the little artist doing today?" She smiled, but her eyes flickered back to Tom and Lily, who were both utterly absorbed in their own world. "She's doing great, as usual," Sarah replied, her voice catching slightly. Suddenly, Tom cleared his throat, drawing Sarah's attention. "Excuse me, can I get a piece of pie for her?" "For who?" she asked, confusion filling her eyes. "Lily. She's working hard on her art, and I think she deserves a reward," he said, nodding towards her. Sarah's eyebrows raised, but before she could answer, Lily chimed in, "Yay. Thank you." She bounced on her stool, face beaming with joy. Tom looked at Sarah, his eyes pleading for understanding, as something unspoken sparked between them. Was he truly trying to connect, or was this just an act? Every fiber of her being screamed to keep her daughter safe. Yet, a part of her also recognized the glimmer of hope he brought along with him. "All right," Sarah relented, her voice softer now. "One slice of pie coming right up." Lily squealed with delight, and for a moment, Sarah caught a glimpse of the potential goodness blossoming in a chaotic world. Maybe this unexpected friendship held promise both for Lily and for Tom. But as Sarah served the pie, a shadow fell across Tom's face. The smile faded, replaced by the weight of reality. What if this moment of joy was fleeting? The walls of his well-guarded heart seemed to tremble under the strain of a vulnerability he was reluctant to show. "Can I ask you something?" Tom said, his voice low again, drawing Sarah's attention. "Do you believe in second chances?" Her heart pounded. Did she want to answer truthfully? Before she could gather her thoughts, her eyes darted toward Lily, the child obliviously enjoying her pie, completely in the moment. Sarah felt torn. Could she let herself believe? Could she trust this man, the one teetering on the edge of despair, seeking connection in the most innocent of places? Time hung in the air like an unanswered question. Would they take a leap together, or retreat into the comfort of their separate lives? Somewhere within the clamor of the diner, the laughter of her daughter echoed, soft yet persistent, urging Sarah to make a decision. What lay ahead could change everything or leave them standing in the same shadow. As the moment stretched, what would each of them choose to do next? Tom's gaze lingered on Lily. Her eyes sparkled as she savored each mouthful of pie, each taste a little explosion of joy. The way she attacked the dessert, delight painting her cheeks red, stirred something deep inside him. It hit him like a wave. This little girl was a reminder that happiness existed, even if it felt distant. His heart ached then, sharply, as he recalled moments from his own childhood, the laughter, the warmth, the family dinners that now felt like they belonged to a different life. Tom cleared his throat again, his voice barely a whisper. I wish I could feel that way again. Sarah's eyebrows knitted together as she watched him. There was something vulnerable about him, something human, hidden beneath the layers of hurt. Did he really want to change? Could he possibly be a good influence in Lily's life? She found herself wrestling with instinctual caution and an unexpected well of empathy. Why do you ask? Sarah finally ventured, curiosity breaking the silence, pushing her heart to leap a little. His fingers fidgeted with the edge of the counter, but he met her gaze steadily. Because I've made some terrible choices. Choices that have cost me so much. His words hung in the air, raw and heavy. Sarah could feel the gravity of his confession. Everyone makes mistakes, Tom. Some more than others, she replied gently, hoping to ease the weight of his burden without dismissing it. I don't deserve another chance, he said, almost to himself. But seeing her, he gestured towards Lily, who was now staring at him with her eyes wide, as if expecting something magical to happen. Her laughter, it's tempting. I want to feel that warmth again. Her heart softened, the mother bear in her reluctant to pounce yet fiercely protective of her own. It's possible to find your way back, but it takes work. It's not easy. Tom nodded, but uncertainty clouded his expression. I've been lost for so long. I don't even know where to start. At that moment, a commotion erupted near the entrance of the diner. The bell above the door chimed, and in walked a group of teenagers, their laughter cutting through the morning haze. They sauntered to the jukebox, shoving each other playfully, oblivious to the deeper connections taking place at the counter. Lily's head turned toward the noise, her mouth slipping into a quick frown. I don't like a lot of people at once, she admitted, her small voice barely above a whisper. Tom glanced back at her, a flicker of understanding igniting in his eyes. What about dragons? He asked, bringing their conversation back to lighter ground. What if dragons protect you when too many people surround you? You can always summon your brave dragon friend when you need him. The corners of Lily's lips turned up again, and her excitement returned. Can my dragon fly? She asked, her eyes bright. Of course. He could fly high above everyone watching over you. A wave of relief washed over Sarah as she noticed the shift in both their spirits. It was small but important, a connection forged in friendship and imagination. A break in the clouds of their chaos. Maybe that's a start for you too, Sarah said gently, letting her protective barrier slip, just a fraction. She saw the wonders of childhood magic even in Tom's adult weariness. What do you mean? Tom asked, the gentleness in her tone capturing his attention. Building connections. Small steps first, she advised. Be like Lily, unafraid to color outside the lines, to trust the possibility of happiness. He smiled weakly but earnestly this time. Trust. Feels unfamiliar. Maybe you can practice. Lily piped in, hands clutching her crayons like treasures. You could draw with me. Tom's gaze softened as he looked at them both. Though uncertain, a flicker of hope ignited within him. Then the teenagers erupted into a spontaneous dance, mirth spilling everywhere. Their shouts mixing into the diner's melody, and for a moment, it felt like the world was alive with endless possibilities. As the laughter and joy swelled around them, Tom's heart raced. Was this the beginning of change? Could he dare to believe in simple moments again? His thoughts swirled, the tension slowly easing away. But just as the joy began to settle, a text notification lit up his phone, stark against the warmth of the moment. He hesitated, looking down at the screen, the reality of his past creeping back in. Would he have the courage to face it all? Or would old shadows reclaim him before he had a chance to truly start anew? The door swung open again, and the cold air drifted in, mingling with the laughter. This time, it wasn't he, just anyone that stepped through. Would his life be about to change forever? Or would the door close just as quickly? Tom's heart dropped as the door opened further, the bell ringing cheerfully, a stark contrast to the knot tightening in his chest. He turned to see a tall man step inside, his presence immediately altering the diner's atmosphere. The newcomer exuded confidence, an easy charm that caught the attention of every diner, overshadowing the earlier joy. James! Lily shouted, her voice slicing through the comforting din. She jumped from her stool, nearly knocking over her half-eaten pie. Sarah's eyes widened in surprise. "You know him?" she asked, a hint of apprehension weaving through her words. "Of course. Yes, the best. He lives on the hill." Lily couldn't contain her delight as she dashed across the diner to greet James. Tom felt a mix of surprise and fear. He remained seated, frozen in his own swirling thoughts. Why was he here? The memories of the past scraped at his insides, fueling the anxiety rising within him. James swept Lily into a hug, lifting her effortlessly off the ground. "Hey there, kiddo. I came by to get some of that famous pie you're always talking about." As the two chatted animatedly, Sarah's protective instincts kicked in. She stepped away from the counter, glancing suspiciously at James. "Do you always surprise her like this?" He chuckled, brushing off the question with an easy grin. "Only on special days. Plus, I wanted to see if she could introduce me to her friend." He winked at Tom, who shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Tom's heart raced. The last thing he needed was someone in Lily's life who could potentially shine a brighter light than he could. The warmth he felt moments ago slipped away, replaced by familiar insecurities. What did James see in him? "Wow, Tom, is that a dragon you're drawing?" Lily sidestepped the brewing tension, pulling the drawing supplies toward them. "Can I see?" Tom forced a smile, but the tightness in his chest remained. "It's not done yet. Maybe you can help me with it?" "Cool. Dragons are my favorite." Lily bounced back to him and spread the drawing paper across the counter, her enthusiasm offering Tom a much-needed respite. But James didn't leave the conversation at that. Little did Tom know, the man who had stepped into his moment of hope was someone he couldn't shake off easily. "What do you do, Tom? Do you work around here?" Tom hesitated and finally admitted the truth. "Not exactly. I've been trying to." The words stuck in his throat. "Trying to what? Live a bit?" James asked, his tone friendly but probing. Caught Tom's mind raced. Could he be honest here, not just about his past but about the dreams he had tucked away? More like trying to figure things out. James studied Tom for a moment. "Everyone has their own dragons to slay," he said almost too casually. "You just have to decide whether you want to face them or run away." Those words hung in the air, a challenge wrapped in casual conversation, and Tom felt the weight of that challenge pressing into him. He was wrestling with far more than just dragons. He was facing himself. Suddenly, a thought snaked through his mind. What if he did choose to face his fears? What if he could reshape his life, guided by this newfound connection with Lily and the warmth of Sarah? With determination swelling within him, Tom glanced from Lily's excited face to James's inquiring gaze. "Yeah. Maybe I'll start with taking small steps," he said, almost as a promise not just to them but to himself. "Good to hear, man." James flashed a supportive smile. "Just remember, it's the journey that counts." But just as Tom felt the hope flicker, more messages from the past collided with the present. His phone buzzed again, and he glanced down. A message flashed across the screen, sending his resolve spiraling. "You owe me. You know where to find me if you want to keep playing games." Tom's blood ran cold. Would he ever escape the ghost of his past? Suddenly the diner felt smaller, the laughter fading into a dull roar. Could he truly step forward, or was the pull of his history too strong? The question echoed in his mind, leaving him caught between starting anew and being dragged back into the shadows. Outside, the world carried on, blissfully unaware of his internal battle. Would he find the courage to confront both his past and the possibility of a brighter future? Tom's fingers trembled slightly as he looked away from his phone, meeting James's curious gaze. The warmth of the diner, the laughter around him, it all faded into a distant hum. The weight of the message loomed over him like a shadow. He was too lost in his mind to hear the laughter between Lily and James as they talked animatedly about dragons and adventures. "Tom, you okay?" Sarah's voice broke through the fog. He forced a nod, pushing the nagging thoughts back for a moment. "Yeah, I'm fine." But his heart didn't agree. The internal battle raged on. Could he really strike a new path? Or was he too far gone, mired in his own mistakes? Here, let us work on that dragon, Lily urged, her eyes sparkling with excitement as she returned to his side, oblivious to the turmoil he was in. She nudged the drawing paper, spreading it out like a canvas full of potential. As Tom set his pencil back to the paper, he couldn't shake off the feeling that every stroke mattered more than just outlining a dragon. This was a chance to redefine himself, to reclaim the artist he once was before shadows crept in. The smell of pie and coffee mingled in the air, wrapping around him with an inviting warmth, pulling him further into the moment. "Nice scales," James said, leaning closer to inspect. "I can see this becoming something epic." Tom leaned and caught James's eye, the challenge of the earlier conversation sparking back to life. For a moment, everything else fell away. The world outside, the message echoing in his mind. Even the past and its ghosts, they didn't matter. What mattered was this moment, this dragon, and this connection. "What do you draw?" he asked James, eager to steer the conversation into safer waters. James shifted, hands stuck casually in his pockets. "Oh, I dabble here and there. Mostly landscapes, nature. I'd love to see your style." His interest felt genuine, a lifeline that encouraged Tom to open up. They talked art and ideas, with Lily chiming in her thoughts, her youthful exuberance drawing Tom further from his uncertainty. Just as he started to feel more at ease, the bell on the door jingled again and Tom's gaze darted towards it instinctively. He held his breath briefly, anxiously expecting someone he didn't want to see. But to his relief, it was just a couple of regulars, bustling in with their usual banter. "Let us get another round of coffees, the best in town, right?" One of them laughed, and the diner resumed its lively chatter. But Tom couldn't shake the feeling that a shadow was still lurking outside, waiting for him. "Are you going to finish that dragon?" Lily asked, her innocent question cutting through the fog again. "Yeah, I am," Tom said, more to himself. He threw himself back into the drawing, realizing he was tracing more than just scales. He was laying down the foundation for who he could be. The message on his phone, the past, it was all still there, swirling like restless spirits trying to drag him back. But in that moment, amidst the laughter and warmth, he felt a flicker of resolve. He wouldn't let it win. "Hey, I'm gonna start a new one too," he said, determination creeping into his voice. "A fierce dragon, one that can face anything." James threw him a grin. "That's the spirit. Sometimes it's all about painting over the old picture with a new one." Tom's heart lifted. It was just a drawing, yet it felt monumental. Maybe it was more than just art. It was a chance. Suddenly, his phone buzzed again, louder this time, almost demanding his attention. Lily glanced at him. "You should check it." Tom hesitated. The thrill he felt from the art was still bubbling, but anxiety tightened its grip. Should he confront it? The moment hung, heavy with anticipation, leaving him caught between the past and the promise of something new. Would he embrace the unknown, or allow himself to be pulled into the shadows once more? The question echoed as the screen lit up again, revealing a name that made his stomach drop. Would this be the moment that changed everything again? Tom's heart raced. The name on the screen felt like a gauntlet thrown at his feet. With trembling hands, he glanced back at his friends, their laughter a comforting balm, but it faded against the sharp edges of his past. He had long ago promised himself he wouldn't let it dictate his future. "Hey, are you going to look at that?" Sarah asked, her tone light, but her gaze held concern. "Just a message," he murmured, his voice trailing off as he wrestled with the decision. "Tom, you've been through a lot. Whatever it is, you can handle it," James said, his hand resting reassuringly on Tom's shoulder. He let out a shaky breath, returning his gaze to the phone. They were right, he couldn't run forever. Tom swiped the screen and opened the text. The words swam before his eyes, each one a weight pressing down on his chest. It was a reminder of everything he had tried to escape. A wave of heat flooded through him, but deep inside, something flickered, an ember of defiance. Wasn't this the moment he'd been waiting for? The moment to confront the shadows that had loomed over him for too long? He took a deep breath. "Is everything okay?" Lily asked, her wide eyes full of concern. He swallowed hard and nodded, forcing a smile. Yeah, I just need to think for a second. The truth hit him, he didn't just need to think. He needed to decide. For just a moment, the laughter around him wrapped him in a warm embrace. Tom looked at the drawing he had started, the dragon slowly taking shape. It stood tall and proud, much like how he wanted to be. This wasn't just about art. This was about taking back control of his life. With renewed resolve, he set the phone down beside the half-finished dragon. I'm going to finish this, he announced, determination igniting in his voice. I'm done hiding. James beamed. That's the spirit. You're powerful, man, don't forget that. And just like that, Tom plunged back into the drawing, carving out scales, teeth, and fierce eyes. With every stroke, he felt lighter, the weight of the message slipping away. For now, the past would just have to wait. A clatter made him look up as a few other customers entered. The diner was buzzing with life, laughter spilling everywhere. It should have felt suffocating, but it didn't. Here, among the warmth and chatter, was where he found strength. Can I color it? Lily asked, reaching for the colored pencils. Of course. Make it fierce, he grinned, watching as she began to fill in the dragon with vibrant blues and fiery reds. Just like you, she exclaimed, lost in her own world of creativity. The edges around him sharpened. Here was joy, here was hope. Art was more than an escape. It was a lifeline. It felt like the memories were swirling away, not erased, but transformed. Tom took another deep breath, letting out a contented sigh. It wasn't just a drawing. It was a declaration. And then his phone buzzed again, this time a steady vibration against the table. Anxiety tightened its grip as he felt all eyes on him. The moment was back, the choice was again laid out like a path before him. Maybe it's important, Sarah said quietly, her gaze flicking from him to the phone. Tom's heart raced, caught between worlds once more. Would he face whatever awaited him on that screen? Or would he let this moment of warmth and connection slip away, buried again in shadows? The room felt charged, anticipation thrumming in the air. In the end, would he let the past define him, or would he make a conscious choice to redefine his story? With one last glance at his friends, he reached for the phone, not knowing what would unfold but ready to find out. The question hung in the air, palpable and electric. Was this the moment he had been waiting for, or a step back into the dark? Tom's fingers hovered over the phone. He could feel the weight of his friend's gaze, their support wrapping around him like a blanket. The laughter of the diner seemed to dim to a murmur, his focus narrowing to the screen. Just open it, he whispered to himself. Words he once thought powerful held a heavy significance now. He cleared his throat, trying to drain the tremor from his hands, and finally tapped the message. The words appeared, stark against the white background. I need to talk to you. Simple, direct, but they hit him like a brick. The sender was his estranged father, the very man he thought he had left behind. His breath caught in his throat. Everything he had ever felt about that man rushed back: pain, betrayal, and a longing he rarely acknowledged. The determination he had summoned only a moment before now felt fragile. Tom? Sarah's voice cut through the haze. What does it say? He swallowed hard, his voice barely above a whisper. It's from my dad. Oh, the room felt still, like a moment suspended in time. Tom's friends exchanged glances, uncertainty weaving through their expressions. I didn't think he'd reach out again, Tom admitted, his heart pounding. Memories surged, unbidden arguments, heartbreak. Everything that had shaped him came flooding to the surface. Do you want to talk about it? James asked, eyes steady and sincere. There was no judgment, just an open invitation. Taking another deep breath, Tom met James' gaze. I don't know. Part of me wants to shrug it off. But what if this is my chance? Your chance? Lily interjected, her eyes wide with innocence. To confront him? Tom nodded slowly, the familiar fire of determination flickering back to life. Yeah, but what if I open that door and it just leads to more pain? Then you close it again, Sarah said gently. You get to decide what happens next. The simplicity of her words cut through the chaos in his mind. He thought of the dragon they were creating together, the strength of its wings, the fire in its throat. "You're right," he said, feeling a shift inside him. "I get to choose." Still gripping his phone, he took a moment to consider. His father had hurt him profoundly, but the question now was whether he could move past that hurt. Could he separate the man from the memories? Could he do what he feared most, acknowledge his past without being imprisoned by it? "Okay," Tom said, voice steadier. "I'll respond." His heart was beating somewhere in between terror and exhilaration. With his friends close, he pulled himself up taller. "What should I say?" "Be honest," James replied, leaning in, "but also be strong." Tom nodded firmly, fingers tapping out a response. "What do you want from me?" It was simple, direct, a challenge. "Good start," Sarah said, her smile gentle, showing she believed in him. As he pressed send, relief intertwined with anxiety. A moment passed, his gaze darting around the bustle of the diner. The laughter and chatter faded back in, the warmth returning. But before Tom could even process the response, a waitress approached their table. With a smile, she served a plate of fries, placing it in front of Lily. "Sorry for the wait," she said cheerfully. "Things have been so busy." Tom's heart softened at the sight of Lily's delighted expression as she dove into the dish. How simple moments could bring such joy and distraction, he thought. Maybe he didn't need to rush this. The waitress turned toward Tom, her demeanor shifting as she saw the intensity in his eyes. "Everything okay?" she asked, genuine concern lacing her voice. Tom offered a grateful smile, sensing that the weight of his choice hung in the air like a fine mist. "Yeah, just figuring things out." As the waitress moved away, Tom felt a new energy coursing through him. It was more than just about his father. It was about who he was becoming. Suddenly, his phone buzzed again. The room seemed to hush, the sound swallowing up the clattering dishes. Anticipation filled the air. Could this moment really change everything? With 2 quick breaths, Tom realized something essential. He was ready to confront whatever was on the other side of that screen, even if it meant facing demons he thought he had buried. As he reached for his phone again, another question unfurled in his mind. Would diving into the past finally bring him the freedom he sought, or would it only tighten the chains he thought he had broken? Tom's heart raced as he unlocked his phone. The vibration still echoed faintly in his palm, a reminder of both dread and intrigue. He took a deep breath, pulling himself back to the phone, anxiously swiping the screen. The message from his father had arrived almost immediately. He hesitated to read it, fear and curiosity warring within him. The words flared on the screen. "I want to meet. Can we talk?" "What does it say?" Sarah asked softly. Her voice was like a guiding light through the fog. Tom swallowed hard, the lump in his throat making it difficult to speak. "He wants to meet." Silence enveloped the table. His friends leaned closer, sharing their concern, their encouragement palpable. "Are you going to?" James asked, carefully selecting his words. "Honestly," Tom replied, "I don't know. Feels like walking into a storm." "Maybe," Lily said quietly, "but storms can also clear the way for something new." A wave of gratitude washed over Tom. They understood. They were living this moment with him, holding the pieces together. He looked around at their concerned, supportive faces, and part of him felt lighter. "Knowing you have the power to decide your path, that's brave," Sarah added, a soft smile blooming on her face. "You can handle whatever comes next." Tom nodded slowly. Her words ignited a flicker of courage within him. He remembered how he had fought through the years of pain, each scar a testament to his strength. Maybe it was time to leverage that strength. "All right." He took an exhale, settling into his decision. "I'll meet him." The words felt strange but liberating, like stepping onto a tightrope high above uncertainty. He tapped out a response. "Which day?" Pressing send, he felt a wave of nausea, then relief. He had chosen to engage. As they sat in the diner inundated with laughter and chatter, Tom felt a shift in the air. Conversations flowed around them, yet his heart beat in the rhythm of anticipation. Nothing would ever be the same again. "Can't believe you're actually doing this," James exclaimed, his enthusiasm infectious. Yet even as excitement built, anxiety twisted in Tom's gut. What if it all fell apart? Before he could spiral into doubt, the waitress returned, balancing a tray of milkshakes with effortless grace. "You all look serious for a diner full of fries. Here are something sweet to lighten the mood." She set the colorful shakes down, beaming. Tom chuckled despite himself. "We're just figuring out our lives." She laughed. "Well, I'd say you're in the right place. Nothing like good food to help you find your way." "Thanks," Tom said, feeling the warmth in her smile. "I could use all the help I can get." After a moment, the waitress glanced at him again, curiosity sparking in her eyes. Sometimes the scariest choices lead to the best experiences." Her words struck a chord with him. It was just a milkshake, yet it felt profound. Life had a way of throwing unexpected wisdom when you needed it most. With their shakes in hand, the atmosphere lightened again. Laughter filled the little space, and for a moment, Tom let himself bask in the comfort of his friends and the sweet cream on his tongue. Yet, in the back of his mind, he was acutely aware of the impending meeting with his father. The uncertainty remained like a cloud hanging over him. "Are you ready to see him?" Lily asked, breaking through his thoughts. "I guess ready or not, it's happening." Tom took another sip of the milkshake, letting the moment blend into something less daunting. He remembered the dragon. Strength, fire, roaring freedom, it was all within him. But just then, his phone buzzed again. Heart in his throat, he glanced down at the screen. His father's name illuminated it. Could this notification change everything? Tom's mind whirled. Was he truly prepared to unravel the tangled web of their history? What awaited him on the other side of that conversation? Tom inhaled sharply, bracing himself for whatever revelation awaited him. The name on the screen loomed like a warning sign. Igniting a flame of anxiety, he carefully tapped the message open. "Tomorrow at noon. Let us meet at the old cafe." Every word felt heavy, each syllable dredging up memories long buried. The small cafe was right across from the park they used to visit, where laughter mingled with echoes of distant arguments. Shadows of their past danced in his mind, and he couldn't shake the feeling that stepping foot in that place would reopen old wounds. What did he say? Sarah's voice cut back through his swirling thoughts. "It's tomorrow at the cafe," Tom whispered, suddenly feeling the weight of time pressing down. A palpable tension hung in the air, and with every heartbeat, the reality of the meeting edged closer. "What are you thinking?" James asked, his brow furrowed in concern. Tom exhaled, searching for words that felt right. "I don't know, just looking back at so many times we avoided this moment. It's scary." "Scary is okay," Lily comforted, her eyes softening. "Just take it one step at a time. You can handle it." Tom, nodding, he forced a smile, grateful for their kindness. They were trying to help build his confidence. And yet, the anxiety gnawed at him. What if tomorrow was a disaster? What if nothing changed despite all this effort? As laughter erupted around the table, the distracting sounds of clinking glasses and cheerful banter felt surreal. Tom was on the precipice of an unknown, and all he could hear was the beating of his heart. What if he wants to talk about the past all over again? The thought slipped from his lips before he could stop it. "Then don't talk about it. Focus on what you want now," Sarah urged, her determination shining in her eyes. "You're writing your own story. This is your chance." He thought about that for a moment. A wave of clarity surged through him. Writing his own story. He desired peace and understanding, not bitterness or blame. Maybe this meeting could be about rebuilding, offering a pathway towards a better future. "Maybe you're right." Tom's voice steadied. "Maybe it's about opening a door instead of slamming it shut." "Exactly," Lily piped up, her enthusiasm contagious. "And chances are he feels as nervous as you do." That thought struck him. The man he had once idolized, now a stranger, was probably standing at the edge of that same emotional precipice. Anticipation, fear, regret, perhaps they shared more than he realized. Before he could spiral into overthinking, Tom took one last refreshing sip of his milkshake. Well, whatever happens tomorrow, I'll be ready to stand my ground. Now that's the spirit. James thumped the table in approval, the sound echoing softly amidst their laughter. Feeling a flicker of hope ignite inside him, Tom allowed himself to laugh along. But the truth lingered. Tomorrow would still hold its trials, and there was no way to predict how this emotional journey would unfold. The sun dipped lower outside the diner windows, casting a warm golden light through the glass, illuminating faces full of optimism and support. Yet as the laughter settled, he couldn't help but think about what awaited him in that cafe. Whatever happens, Tom said, determination lacing his words, I'm not going in blind. I'll have my truth, and I won tea back down. As he glanced at his friends, a buzzing excitement intermingled with anxiety inside him. He felt ready to address the past and whatever emotions tomorrow would unearth. But as they exited the diner, the phone buzzed again. A reminder. Another message from his father illuminated the screen, and a chilling question surfaced in his mind: what if he had no idea what awaited him at noon? With tension building like a storm, Tom realized this was just the cusp of the storm he'd been anticipating, and the conversation could change everything. Would he be prepared for the truth when it finally surfaced? Tom stared out at the bustling street, the fading sunlight casting long shadows that danced on the sidewalk. Tomorrow would bring a reckoning, a chance to confront the past that had haunted him for so long. But as a cool breeze swept through, he felt the warmth of his friends around him, holding his resolve in place. They all left the diner, but the memories remained vivid, echoing their laughter. That innocent enthusiasm from Lily, the unwavering support from Sarah, and the strong camaraderie from James, these were the lifelines he clung to as he prepared for the meeting. Each moment leading to the cafe the next day felt strangely exciting yet nerve-wracking. Tom kept catching himself daydreaming about what the conversation would be like. Would his father truly be ready to acknowledge the pain? Would this meeting lead to healing, or was it simply an echo of unrecognized hurt? As the evening set in, Tom headed home, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and anticipation. He remembered Lily's words about handling life one step at a time. That's how he would approach tomorrow. One moment at a time. It might just be the ticket to reclaiming the pieces of himself he thought he'd lost forever. The night felt long, yet it passed in quiet determination. He replayed the moments shared at the diner, coloring dragons. Laughter, the concept of building a new beginning. When dawn broke, Tom awoke with purpose. He dressed deliberately, each movement anchoring him to this important day. He moved through the morning rituals with a newfound clarity. This wasn't just about confronting his father, it was about becoming the man he wanted to be. Arriving at the cafe was like stepping back into an old memory. The familiar place seemed both daunting and comforting. He stood outside for a moment, heart racing. Yet the warmth of the sun felt like a reminder that he was not alone. A deep breath filled his lungs as he entered, the bell above the door ringing cheerfully. Seated at a corner table was his father, looking older and worn. Tom's heart sank. He recognized the weight of regret etched into the older man's expression. But he also saw vulnerability, a flicker of someone yearning for redemption, much like Tom himself. "Hey, son," his father began, his voice soft, yet structureless, as if uncertain of what to say. Tom felt the weight of those two words, so full of unspoken history. "Hey," Tom replied, heart pounding. He felt the moments stretch between them, a taut line holding years of hurt and longing. "I got your message. I know I haven't been the father you needed," his dad said, avoiding eye contact, "and I'm not sure if I can ever explain it all." Tom took a seat, keeping himself steady. "You don't have to explain everything. Just tell me why you couldn't be there, why you didn't fight for us." Each word felt like cutting through the fog, his voice unwavering. His father sighed, the regret spilling from him. "I was scared. I was lost myself, and I didn't know how to be there for anyone else. I thought you'd be better off without me." The honesty hung in the air, thick and tangible, and it struck Tom here was the reality he had long wanted. "You think I didn't feel your absence? That it didn't hurt? That I never wanted to know you?" As he spoke, a flood of emotions rushed forward, and he felt the urge to break the walls of past hurt. I needed you to show me it was okay to feel, okay to fail. Instead, I had to learn to navigate life without direction. I know, his father whispered, shame washing over his features. I wish I could take it all back. I wish I could have been better for you. A moment of silence passed, and Tom felt the weight begin to shift. You can't change the past, but we can start from here. I don't want bitterness anymore. He looked directly into his father's eyes, searching for sincerity. I want to know you if you're willing. His father's eyes glistened with unshed tears. I'd like that more than anything. I can't promise I'll be perfect, but I want to try. For you. A flicker of hope ignited within Tom. As they spoke, the layers of emotional hurt slowly peeled away, like the first rays of sunlight breaking through the darkness. The shadow of regret began to lift, revealing possibilities ahead. When they parted, there were no extravagant promises, no overreaching gestures, just a mutual acknowledgement that both were willing to face the changes to come. A quiet understanding filled the space, echoing like the laughter of Lily and the warmth of Sarah and James. Tom didn't know what the future held, but he felt lighter, a flight of wings unburdening him from the years of expectations and disappointment. He knew it would take time, conversation, and effort, but now, for the first time, he felt ready to embrace that journey together. As he stepped out into the sunlight, the world felt brighter, more vibrant. It was a day of beginnings, of healing, and it sparked a renewed faith in second chances and connection. Tom drew in a deep breath, letting the warmth peel away the remnants of doubt. Stepping forward into a brighter future, he was ready to color his life with all the richness it had to offer. And the dragon he'd been drawing became not just a symbol of his battles faced, but a reminder of the beauty surrounding him, a fierce creature ready to embrace adventure. Now is the time, friends. You need to subscribe now to ensure you don't miss the next set of exclusive, life-affirming stories. Leave a like right now to help feed the algorithm. Your support truly matters. Comment your feelings about this transformation. I want to hear your thoughts. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need a little spark of hope in their lives. Let us keep spreading positivity together.